Hey, good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Good morning, Tommy, Gold, Rod, Sunny, Yorina. Good morning. Hey, Deborah from Florida. Glad to have you here. Good morning to everybody. Let's come over there. Okay. Hey, JW, how's it going? Well, everybody's got your coffee in hand, tomato juice, orange juice, water, whiskey, whatever you do in the morning. Hey, let's give a big shout out to Microsoft. Thank you, Microsoft. Let's give a big shout out to Meta. Thank you, Meta. Having two Goliaths like that doing a good job on their earnings could really help this market, and this market needs some help for sure. So let's look at this. Excuse me. Price is above the T line. T line is above the trend indicator. The value of that is how I trade. That is my my trend. It's my world. I think all of us doesn't matter whether we trade the same thing or not, or the same way or not. I think I can safely say that the majority, 99% of traders, trade in a world of their own, their own size, their own, what indicators you use, you keep them in some particular area. Let's say you only trade if we're oversold based on stochastics. Well, that's part of your world. Maybe you're only trading stocks that pull back to some sort of support. That's part of your world. That is also part of trade planning, which, by the way, and honestly, this was not planned. By the way, we're having member e-learning today, starting at noon, with Doug from Right Way Options kicking it off. And the topic is chart planning, or trade planning. So that would be a great one for everybody to come to. Okay. So today at noon, in our combo room, shouting out to all current members. Of course, if anyone wants to become a member or a trial member, you're welcome to, and start there at noon today. So anyway, that is my world right there. And so far, my world is bullish. And we've got the trend indicator moving up, and then we've got, like I said, price above the T line above the trend indicator. That's my world. And then what happens is, we're forced to come in here and look at things like the 200 period moving average, the 50 period moving average. We're forced to come in here and look at resistance, and in this case, we're looking at resistance. All this is support down here. We're forced to do that, but now the question is, what are we going to start looking for? What's going to scare us out of the trade? That sort of thing. And it could be a lot of different reasons. I don't even want to go there because there could be a lot of reasons why you might do that. But right now, based on my assessment of the market, the bigger picture, sellers still have control. We are underneath that 200 period moving average, and the 50 is below that 200. So until that changes, I'm afraid I've got to go with the bigger picture. Sellers are in control. The smaller picture, and here, let's do this. This is, there's the bigger picture, and there's the smaller picture. The smaller picture, the bulls are trying to make their way up, and so far, I think they're doing a pretty darn good job. Up, back, and so far up. Now, at any given time, they can be knocked off their pedestal, but until they're knocked off their pedestal, we've got ourselves a bullish market here. Hey, Sonny. Hey, Devinder, how are you? And then over here we have, hey, Daryl, good morning. Thank you for being here. MW, thank you for being here. Let's see, Sonny, when looking at charts, what are your favorite time frames? Daily, it probably goes daily. Oh, it's daily, and then there's a real mix after that. I don't know if I'm going to put anyone in second place, but it's a 60-minute 3-bar chart and weekly chart. I can't say I have a favorite after the daily, but it's the 60-minute 3-bar chart or 130-minute chart and the weekly chart. That's what I focus on right there. Let's see here. Where was I going? Oh yeah. T2123 closed up yesterday pretty nice, and I expect it to be bullish at least for the for the open today anyway. And that's just because the market seems like it's holding up. That could change at any time. Let me put it right up here so it's a little bigger. T2123, I happen to think is absolutely the best indicator in the world. And for me, might not be for everyone else. You can see here the daily, which I don't really use. I just want to show the progression here, okay? The daily, it has not turned green. The 3-bar chart or the 130-minute chart, notice how that has gone from that bearishness. Now we've gone to bullishness. And then from there, the hourly chart, you can see that has gone to bullishness from bearishness to just flat as a pancake. And now it's starting to move up. The hourly is what I mostly watch. And here we are down here, and that's bullish. This is VXX. It popped up yesterday, gave us a bit of scare. I even bought a little bit, but I had to close it out because it just didn't look like it was working. I'm glad I did. Small loss. So I want to make sure that VXX stays below that red line for now. We stay below that, and T21 stays up. Bulls are good to go, in my opinion. Let's come back over here real quick. Be careful of the 200 period moving average. It's a known area to cause a little bit of a stumble. You can see that stumble right here. You can see that stumble all through there. The dotted line, that's another 200 period moving average. It just modified. You can see that right through there. That's modified, or that's, failed that 200. So got to watch this going forward. All right, let's take a look at the Qs real quick. Qs are doing fantastic. They finally broke out of our green 50% retracement, and they look like they're going to challenge that 200 up there, even if we can't get through the 200. So say that's all we get today. Man, it could be. If we pull back, if we can hold this area, which I'm gonna, something like that. I'm going to use those green dots, draw that trend up, and that's my trendicator trend. If we can hold that and pull back and test, I think that would be a good way to go. And then you keep this low high, higher low, higher high thing going, which is what it needs. That's the way charts work. 2-3 steps up, 1 step back. 2-3 steps up, 1 step back. And then sometimes you get 3 or 4 steps back, and then you start that process all over again. So, taking a look at IYT, IYT, it has been a rough road. It has getting this thing going. You can see that here. Colors are not working out here so well, are they? So we make that bigger. There we go. So you can see that wedge in here on IYT. And, which way is it going to go? Well, here you can barely see it right there, but you can see we're moving up over that line today. Now, whether or not holds, that's another, that's a whole nother story. But so far, it's doing its job. And so far, you can see the bulls are doing their job. My number one goal for IYT is to come through here and take out the 50 period moving average, which is the blue line, and take out the 50% retracement, which is this red box right here. We take that out, and then we've got something. I think we've got something to talk about. In the meantime, the only thing we have to talk about is we're just not there yet. And being under all that is just not a good thing. So it leaves them vulnerable is what it does. SMH doing a great job here. Here we are testing that vulnerable area and the 50 period moving average. Here we are this morning. So let's see what happens here. In a perfect world, it just breaks out And that's the last we see of this. And it just marches on up with normal little pullbacks. What else have I got? A couple charts. Let's look at Hood. Hood is looking pretty good. I like the way this chart is working. You can see that. See the trend indicator, how it's working. And just because we have a trend indicator that turns red, that's not horrible. That's not where I want to be. But when we see red, green, red, green, red, green, and it constantly is rising, well, that's a good sign because we're making lows, highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And here we are yesterday with a bullish engulf right at that 50% retracement. Looks like we're getting some follow through. Targets up here are going to be in these areas. These are all little quadrant areas is what they are. So here's a quadrant area, quadrant area, quadrant area, quadrant area. Eighths, they're not really, quarters because I've got them divided. And then never want to forget about price. So I come over here because I can see this candle right there. Well, I'm going to watch that 54.93 within that boundary right there. That's what I'm looking for. So we'll watch Hood for an entry. VRT also setting up and doing a pretty good job. Here we've come out of this bottom. I'm going to take this bottom right there. That is a quadrant area. And you can see how we've been down. And then we start, putting that bottom in. And now we're starting to rise up. Just like that, big bowl or big cup coming in here. So the right-hand side of the cup moves up. That's a good money-making area. And then somewhere along the lines, we're going to end up putting a pullback in. In a perfect world, we want it to come back up. And then we're going to call that a handle. Whether it starts right here, or up here. Kind of hard to say exactly where it's going to go. Reddit popped up on my scanner and tools here today. Reddit, you can see the left side of the bowl there. There's that bottom, and now we're starting to move up. You can see price is above the T-line. T-line's above the trend indicator. Starting to get going with Reddit there. IBIT, rock and roll. We've talked about this one along with GBTC, few other, the Bitcoin charts. And man, that thing just keeps on working. It's just working perfect. You can see how it rallied up, came right into one of our lines here. You can see it pulled back, found support. Now we're breaking out. So I would look at the next area right around that 56.45 and always look over here a little bit to the left. You can see the resistance or the speed bump over there. Something I've talked about in the room here recently is why do we need to look at anything over the left? All we're going to do is follow price anyway. And you think about that today if you would. It truly is all you're going to think about. We can put all the math and we can put all of our building and we can take everything under the sun and we can focus on that left-hand side. We can look for all the speed bumps, the resistance, everything you want to do. But when it comes down to it, you're going to follow price anyway. You might not realize it, but you do. So if we move up, and it does not matter where any lines are, if price action was to do this, you're going to tuck your tail and run. I would, everybody would. That's what we do. So bottom line, keep the charts clean, follow the charts, follow that price action. Okay. All right. Let's see. You guys have anything? Oh man. Wow. Thank you, YouTube, Facebook. Wow, we've got some Facebookers over there. X, thank you very much. Here, let's take a look here. 2-bar chart is good too. Oh, Daryl is saying he likes the 2-bar chart. That's one of his favorites. Thanks. Appreciate that. Hey, Terry. Hood earnings today. We just talked about that one. Good morning, Hydro. What is that? Ed H Hertz HTZ. Take a look at there. So HTZ, is it trying to move up here? I'm going to get rid of that, I think. There we go. I'm going to move this down to right here. I'm actually going to remove that. I'm going to come down here. Whoops, there we go. I'm going to take this high and come down to that low. We're right at that 50% retracement. Now, for me, I need a buy signal. A doji never has been, never will be a buy signal for me. So I'm going to have to see the buyers come in here. And, an example would be maybe today we hold over the previous candle. So this might be a nice candidate for the end of the day, for me anyway, to see if that candle can hold over that candle or even move up over the T line right there. And then that might show that the bulls are taking this possible bottom area kind of serious. What I would be just a little bit concerned with is if we look right through, let's do it this way. You still have a gap right here that may need to get filled before the bottom is actually in. We'll take a look at Wolf Long, WOLF Long. It's trying, isn't it? What a nasty day. I have no idea what happened here, but I'm afraid that wolf got in trouble here. I don't know why. I'm going to change this. Go to this gap up here. Oh, hell, let's just go all the way to the top. There we go. So doing this now, wolf is in that construction area right here. So it's still constructing a bottom. When it breaks out of this top, that will be where the bottom has been constructed. The foundation is in, the pillars are in, all the rocks and gravel, and it's all compacted. And then we can look at something on wolf. But right now, hey, price is above the T line. T line's above the trend indicator. Just, keep that trend going. You're going to have to get over that 50 period moving average. And right now, that candle and the 50 honestly scares me to death. So I would probably wait till a better time for me. HPE, let's look at that. HPE. Yes, that is setting up quite nice, isn't it? I think I'll flag that one. Thank you. HPE is actually a buy right now. You've got a 3-8 trap sitting here. And, you're looking at 15 or so percent up here into the 200 area. Yeah, that's a nice chart. Good bottom. Look at that beautiful trend moving up. Very nice. Thank you. What else do we have? Okay. Hey, Sonny, good morning. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is one of those that I think everybody should have on their watch list. I mean, Amazon is just it's just a rocking kind of company. It is. Man, they get it done. Their whole website, best for ordering, everything on it. I know some people don't like Amazon, I love them. Them and Walmart, my favorite stores. So you can see here we've broken out of that construction area. We've come down, put a low, high. We tested for a higher low, and now we're up a little bit. Right now, it looks to me like we may be headed up to that 50% mark. So that's what I would be kind of looking for. And it would be very clear that we need to deal with that 50 period moving average and the 200. But the trend is there. So as long as trend is there, the trend is the trend until it's no longer a trend. It's that simple. It is not complicated. If you're afraid of the 50, then you wait till it breaks out. If you're afraid of the 200, wait till it breaks out. If you're afraid of this top right over here, well, wait till it breaks out. If you're afraid of this top over here, well, wait till it breaks out. Not difficult to trade. One of the key things about trading is make sure the back end is on your side, meaning the market. So if the market is working, then your chances are better. For me, if T2123 is working along with the market, if that is working, chances are much better that you're going to come out on the position that you get into. Let's see, Apple, that has earnings coming up today, doesn't it? Yeah. Probably going to need to see what earnings are. You know, Apple is one of those where the bigger picture, the sellers are the big dog. Sellers are winning. If you take a look at the little picture, the bulls are trying to come back. So the little picture has to come up and beat the big picture. We're going to have to take out the 50, the 200 up here. So we just have to watch that. And as far as earnings go, I don't have the foggiest clue what earnings are going to be on it. See, did I miss anything up there? Reddit. Yeah, Reddit's a nice chart, isn't it, Thomas? NVO. Hey, Dick, how you doing? NVO. Nice little rounded bottom there. Yeah, nice little rounded bottom. It's still in a downtrend. Still in that downtrend. So, you know, so I see a chart. It doesn't matter. A chart like this, any chart. To me, it's like climbing up a tree or down a tree if you're bearish. So let's climb up this tree. The goal is to go from here to that first branch and get on that first branch. That's the first goal. And then let's see if we can go from this branch to the next branch. And I'll call that about the next branch. Okay. So this could be a trade and then reevaluate. And then this could be a trade, then reevaluate. It could be all one trade, but you're going to have to get through these places. You know, you're going to have to get through the 50. You're going to have to get through that top right there. You're going to have to get through that red line. And then you're going to have to get through this area. We've got a great start. But and what do we have here? Something so simple, right? Price. T-line is not leading the trend indicator. That's something I would want. But I don't know if I would be deterred from this chart. That's a nice chart. And then, you know, a positive day just holding, you could have that turn. And now you've got that momentum. So there's your trade, reevaluate. There's your trade, reevaluate. There's your trade, reevaluate. Just like that. So far, a nice bottom on it. Thank you. Let's see here. Update on UVXY. Well, UVXY, let's see here. It's underwater there, Devendra. I was long UXVA. I'm pretty sure I'm out of it. I know I'm out of it. I got long yesterday on UVXY and I closed it out because it was clear that it was not going to work out. So I dumped out of that. It's below that line in the sand right there. That was my stop. And right now it's still in a downtrend. Let me move that. And price is below the T line and the T line is below the trend indicator. Not the direction I want to trade long in. Might trade short in that perhaps. Okay. Let's see. Did I get all those? I think I did. Go a little further down. Hey, Joe. COMM, waking up. Yeah, boy, that's waking up here. Running right into that, you know, big trend line, big old resistance there. Yeah. Let's see, for those who shower, it's work day. So is anything over here? Let's see, LGMK. LGMK, there we go, MG. On the 4-hour chart, you're looking at that on the 4-hour chart? 4 hour. I don't even have a 4-hour up here. 4 hour, 4 hour, hourly, 2 hour. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. I mean, if that works for you. Okay. Yeah. Then I'd like to know how hard you work to get that one. But you're right. I mean, a nice chart if that's the kind of thing you like. A 2-cent stock, playing around with some pennies there. Nice gap, nice little pullback. Looks like a terrific little chart here. This part of it, that's the only part I'd be interested in. But it's starting to make its way up. But, a 2-cent stock can be a 10-cent stock in no time at all. And believe me, that could make you a lot of money. So, yeah, thanks for that one. GDX, and then I have to go. GDX is still in a downtrend. I don't know what else to say about that. No reason to be a buyer here. No buy signal. I don't see any buy signals. And to boot, here we are down, and you've got yourself a bearish H pattern setting up. So GDX needs to fix that H pattern look. And to do that, we need to be up here, 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, however long it takes. But we need to see the bulls step into it. Otherwise, that's still a short chart. We're moving down. All right. I want to thank everybody for being here. Truly, thank you so much. Thank you, Jim. Thanks, Rickster. Rickster, did you keep your Microsoft overnight? Did you do that? I hope so. Congratulations. Nope. Oh, you took it out yesterday? All right. Well, you still made a little bit. Yeah, Marvel. Since you speak of Marvel Hill, yeah, I'm already in Marvel, and that's looking pretty good. It's still trying to create that bottom, build that bottom right through there. You can see that bottom dotted line and then the bottom solid line. But right through there is trying to build that bottom. When we get through that, then we can see about it running up here to that $80, $90 range. But right now, I'm doing a pretty good job. Low, high, higher, low. Nice little pop out of the box. Yeah, glad to be in that one. All right, everybody, take care. Thank you very, very much. Trade safe, trade wise, enjoy yourself. And hey, remember e-learning today, starting at noon Eastern. It kicks off with Doug, followed by Doug with Right Way Options, followed by John, our day trading division, and then myself. I pick up the last hour there. So hope to see everybody there. Thanks a bunch, everyone. Take care. You guys have a great day.